spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father.
Some manage to accomplish their task partially, but most fail completely. Real service, it's not just an idea, it involves effort, without which the work can neither begin or prevail. Ranks of mediums and instructors live here for the physical world with special training, because benefactors in the higher realms need selfless, altruistic mediums or collaborators in order to enhance humankind's redemption. It is very interesting. This is a book that I would recommend if you all haven't read, because the experiences that all these spirits are sharing, it's something that can really touch us. So this part of the book, around 4 or 5 spirits, they talk about, their previous existences, and they share some of the experiences. So one, for instance, he had this mission of incarnating on Earth. He was going to have, some sort of like, he was going to be a priest, and he would have a couple of his friends. I think it was 5 or 6 spiritual friends that would be incarnating with him in this existence to help him, to succeed in his mission. However, he ended up, because of his free will, the free will that we all have, he ended, taking a different path. And not only he failed in his path, but he also let down these other friends that were incarnating with him, alongside with him, to help him, to support him in this mission. So this is one case. There are other cases, for instance, of people that are working in doing mediumistic work, like in a real spiritist center, and at some point, they decide either to someone stop doing it, someone else, decided to um, just didn't do good choices in life. So this is also, a call for us, because we are all incarnated in this planet, which is a planet that is still, very attached to matter. And it is hard for us, in this spiritual world. All, you know hopefully most of us, we try to prepare ourselves before coming here, before this incarnation. And over there it might seem easier, let's say, quote unquote easier, because over there we have, we don't have this heavy matter around us. We have a better understanding of, our commitments, and, our commitments to others as well. And then once we are back in here, and we don't remember of, our agreements, and we have all this again. When I talk matter, I talk things from our daily lives. You know how sometimes in a Saturday afternoon, you have maybe, on a Saturday afternoon during summer, you have a friend calling you to go to her house and to enjoy the pool. Instead of that, you have to constantly remind yourself of doing the good choice of, no, Saturday at 4:30 p.m. I have a study at the Spirit Center, or Saturdays late afternoon, it's when we go out and we do charity. So, every time that we talk about the experiences here on earth and the matter and the things that can distract us, I am talking from like bigger things like vices to even like smaller things as our daily lives and everything that is around us that can really distract us and, just remove us from the right path on from what we had committed before incarnating in this. And then Tobia proceeds telling Andrea Luis that those messengers trained and prepared in the spiritual plane, it's easy for them to forget their missionary spirit and their dedication to the fellow beings, becoming worthless instruments. Just as they are plows and farmers, just as there are plows and farmers, there are medians and medianship doctrinal instructors in doctrine. A farmer may own an excellent plow, but if he lacks the desire to use it, the only thing that the plow will produce is rust. The same applies to the psychic faculties in great knowledge. Medians, instructors, children, and youth educators. Spirits may be endowed with a very powerful mediumistic ability for other talents, but if they cannot see beyond their own interests, they will completely fail at the assigned task. Countless workers retreat just at the moment when the task offers the most valuable opportunity. Work carries with its corresponding struggle. Those who endure the hardship and setbacks of the front lines are very rare indeed. So, and this brings a question to us. As far as our contribution and collaborator, not only in the Spiritist Center, let's think out of the Spiritist Center. Let's think about our collaboration in our community. Let's think about our collaboration with our family, our brothers and sisters. Am I being a faithful servant so that Spiritism can be the shining guiding light? Or am I putting my feelings and immediate desires first? Do I want to join the vineyard? And again, it's a constant thing. In the beginning, when we talked about, that this work is also work inside of ourselves, this is a true thing. We keep in our studies discussing inner reformation and how even, at first you look, and when we talk about inner reformation and self-enlightenment, it might seem something simple, but it's not. It's actually something that is so challenging because it requires constant work. It requires us, to keep fighting our bad tendencies, keep fighting our desire of maybe right now being in our couch watching TV instead of being here listening to this virtual meeting, right? So it's just like a questioning that we should all ask ourselves tonight and try to reflect upon this.
Angie, could I say something here?
Yes.
This slide and the couple of slides ago, when you talked about the when we were still talking about the workers of the last hour and the those who got the call at the last hour versus those who got the call at the beginning. It just makes me think of how we all get the call, right? God is always calling.
Yeah.
We look at our phones, right? And we press ignore, right? We just swipe left and ignore the call, or we let it roll over to voicemail, right? Or pretend we don't hear it, or we answer it and say, yes, sure, right? And then we say that we'll be that faithful servant, but then we run into that inner reformation challenge inside where we say we want to do it, right? We say we want to learn, we accumulate some knowledge, we say we want to be of service, but then we find ourselves in this inner battle, right, of our feelings and our self-interest, and that's our work to do, right? That's our work to do, is to be honest with ourselves, with reconciling our desire to be that guiding light and our desire to be faithful servants, because that's why we're here, right? We're here because we want to do better. We just have to, I love that you're calling this out. We have to just also want to work on the part of ourselves that's resistant, right? And then, so I just love that you called this out. Really appreciate this.
Thank you, Kara. And yes, it's because usually I'm not sure you all, I am talking my experience in here, but every time that I hear talking about work in a mission or something, my mind always goes to something that is like a big thing, this big task, this big mission that I might have in my life. But when we are talking work and we are understanding that this can be like the smallest thing, as you said, you keep receiving the call in your cell phone from God, kind of. This is the idea, it's that call every day to be kind, to do the random act of kindness towards your coworker, or towards a complete strange in the street is to, dedicate some time to study Spiritism, or, just to read a good enlightening book every day, instead of, spending all those hours just in social media or just in front of the TV. And I'm not saying that there is, that we shouldn't watch TV or anything like that. It's just like we should always find the space for our work, for our inner growth. It's what this question is asking here. Do I want to do this for good? Do I want to serve? Or am I putting my feelings and my immediate desires first, right? And when we talk about, disseminating the message, when we talk about, talking now more focusing on Spiritism, it doesn't mean that we have to be preaching the gospel always. So this is a quote from St. Francis of Assisi, and he says, "Preach the gospel always, but use the words only when necessary." And what he means on this is that our conduct should be the example. When he says use the words only as when necessary, it's because you should be preaching the gospel throughout your actions. Your actions should be the example that the others, by being around you, they will learn, not because you are telling them that they should do good, because they are seeing your example and they are following what you are doing. So this was a very powerful quote from St. Francis of Assisi. And then finally, it's the kind of the third part of tonight's session. It's about Paul of Tarsus, from the book Paul and Stephen. And Paul of Tarsus is also the Apostle Paul. So this was such a powerful passage of the book, when he, just to give you all some context, in this passage of the book, he was suffering, and he is in a lot of pain. He is enduring some hardships in life. He is like rethinking everything that he had done in the past. He's trying to change. He is trying to work, but because of all the baggage that he has, he's finding some roadblocks. He's finding some difficulties. So in this passage, he can see, he can feel the spirit of Stephen and also Abigail. And so this is like almost like a conversation that it happens between him and Abigail. He asks her, "What can we do to acquire a perfect understanding of Christ's designs?" And she replies to him, "Love." And then he asks, "How can we proceed in order to grow richer in the divine virtues? Jesus ordered us to love even our enemies. How can we do for our soul to reach such an elevated expression of effort in Jesus Christ?" Her answer was, "Work." And then he kept thinking, but what measures could we adopt against destructive and discouragement? And she says, "Hope." And then finally he asks, how are we to reconcile the grand lesson of the gospel with human indifference, injustice, and difficulties? And her answer was, forgive. So those words, love, work, hope, and forgive, they are considered the course of action that us as spiritists, we should have in our life. It was, Paul understood that it was necessary. He needed to in order to do the work for Christ, the work that he wanted to do. As I mentioned, he was trying, to start working for Jesus, but he was finding a lot of roadblocks. After, this conversation, he understood that before he could start working in the name of Jesus, he had to really work inside of himself. He had to do, the betterment inside of him first. So then he would be ready to start work in the name of Jesus. Any comments on here?
I think we have to want to grow, right? I mean, if we are trying to proceed to grow richer in divine virtues, there's the desire has to be there first, and that's sometimes I have to pray for the desire and the willingness. That's I think what I would add here, because Paul, of course, went through a very rapid period of advancement in his incarnation, which I would like to think is available to us all if we're willing to do the work that he did. Right? He's not. He's a spirit like the rest of us that went through a phase of evolution, but he put the work in because he was willing. And I just think that that's something we should consider adding to our prayers, is to make us just willing to do what's necessary.
Exactly. And what you said just remind me of something else. You remember in the beginning of this talk when we were talking about, the workers of the first hour, the workers that came first. And I mentioned that, we could compare them to the prophets that came in the beginning. So when we think about, all the groundwork that, the prophets had to do, when we are talking about Paul of Tarsus in here and in the other apostles of Jesus, everything that they had to experience, in order to just disseminate Jesus' words. In their time, it was so difficult. In nowadays, we are the work considered the workers of the last hour, but we still have our hardships, but it's nothing, almost nothing compared to everything that they had endured. And as Kara says, sometimes it's almost like we lack the desire, because every time that I see and I look to the example of Paul of Tarsus and so many others, the desire of really doing the work for Jesus or the work of good for others was there all the time. The desire was like their main force, even if they were sick, as you can see throughout this book. Sometimes he was sick, he was facing so many roadblocks and so many difficulties, and he still wanted to move forward. He never had the doubt of I'm going to stop, it is too hard. And as you mentioned, Kara, sometimes we just need to ask ourselves, do I have the motivation? Do I have the willingness? Do I really want this? It's just like we also talk about when we are practicing charity, right? That charity, it's not the act of giving something to someone in need or something like that. Charity is actually the desire, it's your willingness, it's the feeling that you have inside of yourself when you are doing this. And here is the same case. We have to have that feeling inside of us, that and sometimes just to go against the feelings that we have, that do we just want to stay in our place and not do anything to change.
I really like this because I think it's very important. I feel like with any time in our lives when we want to accomplish things, the willing has to be first. We got to be willing to do it. I think that is a lot of times the first step, because a lot of times we want to accomplish something. We have all that in mind, and there are points where we might not know what to do. We might not know exactly how to get there, exactly how to accomplish that. but the first step is, you got to be willing to do it, willing to change. I'm willing to change. I'm willing to try. And when you're willing to do something, then God is gonna help you. You're gonna receive that help when you put yourself. You give the first step, and you put yourself to be in the position to try things, to do things. Then things start to flow. And it's very, like, I like what you guys said. I like what you said too, Angie, that Paul, a lot of times on the book, Paul Tarsus, he didn't know how he was going to get things done, but he was willing to do it. And he would always tell to his to the other apostles and the followers that were always with him, they they would say, like, how are we going to do it? We're just going to do it. We're going to go and we're going to do it. And God is going to provide. They would just go and not take provisions, not taking anything, but they trust. They had the willingness and the trust that they were never alone and never without any help and support from God. They were always, like, the hope that Paul Tarsus showed. It was amazing, and the work that he put in everything that he did as well.
This is great, Anna, because we should. This is also about faith, as you pointed. It's also about faith and believing in God. In if we are looking more to our inner transformation, inner reformation that we have to do inside of ourselves. It's also whenever we are praying, let's ask for help. Let's ask our mentors, our guardian angels, to help us. We do have them by our side. They let's trust on them. Let's ask for them, for God, to help us, to combat our bad tendencies, to help us, to start over a million times if necessary. So, being spiritists, it's also always good to remind ourselves the power of a good prayer, for big and also for the smallest things, right? So, this is a passage from Bezerra de Menezes, and he says, Jesus, dear sons and daughters, waits for us. Let's love be our shield, our tools. Let our life be a hymn of love. So I would like to end with this invitation for us to work in the service of others, to work in ourselves, to be the workers of the last hour, to think about maybe all the preparation that we have done as the parts of the book Messengers, as they showed for us. Think about maybe all the preparation that we have done before coming to this incarnation, in the sense of not wasting the time, not wasting the precious time that we have in this incarnation. This incarnation it's a wonderful opportunity for us, to be the workers of the last hour, to start working towards our spiritual progress. So hopefully tonight in this talk I was able to to set a spark inside of your heart, and also a spark inside of my heart, because it's always, every time we are preparing to come and do a talk, it's also a good reflection, a good moment of self-reflection for the person who is talking. So thank you very much. I welcome any comments that you all might have.
And thank you, Angela, for your. Oh, sorry.
All right. Does anyone have any comments? Otherwise, we can start preparing for the virtual passes right now. I would invite you all to get a jar of water or a glass of water and place it by your side.
Right. So thank you so much, Indiana, for the beautiful talk. It definitely makes us reflect on the position that we are right now and how much we can still progress, and we still have to grow. We're being called each and every day to fulfill this this invitation that we receive from above. So now that we are all prepared, that we receive this message, we have our water by our side, I invite you all to close your eyes so we can prepare to receive the passes for this moment. Let's take a deep breath. Relax when we are seated. Feeling the presence of Jesus here with us. He's been here with us throughout this night, throughout this meeting. We feel the presence of our guardian angels, the mentors of the house, of the Spirit Center, our guardian angel and mentors, friendly spirits that are with us. We feel them embracing us in a circle of love and a circle of light in this moment. Visualize Jesus entering your house. Visualize this master, this friendly master by your side in this moment, involving and surrounding in this beautiful feeling of peace, of calmness. We start to feel and breathe in all the good energies that are around us in this moment, bringing peace, tranquility inside ourselves, inside our hearts, and opening our hearts to receive the passing, to receive these good energies, opening ourselves to let go of anything that does not belong to us, that we do not want to carry with us anymore. And with all of this in mind, we start to feel a beautiful waterfall, crystalline waters falling over us, washing away any feelings, thoughts, sensations, washing away everything that does not belong to us anymore. Imagine like the leaves on the trees that are falling right now in the season that we are in here. Imagine that all the feelings that you do not want to carry with you anymore are falling like the leaves from the tree. And you start to feel lighter. This water starts to wash away everything, cleaning yourself, your whole entire being, cleaning your very spirit, your physical body, every single cell of your body, receiving this cleanse. We start to feel lighter. We feel this connection with the spiritual world. And we thank you, dear God, for this cleanse, for helping us release anything that does not serve us anymore. Thoughts, feelings, habits. We let all that go. And with everything that we learned today, we start to feel this beautiful bright light falling over us. And we open ourselves up. We open ourselves up to receive this light. We ask God and Jesus to pour over us this beautiful golden sun of healing light over our whole body, every cell of our body, our physical body, our spiritual body, our thoughts, the mental body of our being, receiving this light which illuminates our thoughts, bringing us this hope, this faith, this trust that we talked about, so we can open up for the willingness to improve, to open up for the work ahead of us, the work inside of us, this inner reformation, the dedication to our spiritual life, to our spiritual enlightenment, our spiritual growth, the evolution of our spirit, which is what we're going to take with us forever as eternal beings that we are. We feel this light being poured over our house, our family members receiving the path, receiving this light as well. Our spouses, our children, our pets, all of our loved ones receiving this blessing in this moment. We send it to the ones that are not physically present with us, but are in our heart, and ask that Jesus and God take care of them for us, embracing all of us with their arms of love. We thank you, dear God, for this moment. We thank our mentors for involving us and surrounding us in so much light, so much love, as we heard such a beautiful message. We thank all the good spirits that blessed our waters and that were with us. Send light and send love, dear God, to our planet, to our country, to all those suffering, be that in the physical plane or the spiritual plane. Stay with us, dear Jesus, throughout this week, preparing us for our studies, to continue on this journey, in this path of enlightenment that we're choosing for ourselves, to illuminate our soul and those that are around us. Stay with us, dear Jesus. So it is.
Oportunidad de ser feliz y de progresar. A cada prueba, Dios te enseñando, nunca se deja de luchar. Ama la vida y suspira.